The man accidentally knocked over the wax, pouring it directly onto the woman's face. Realizing the serious trouble he had caused, the man quickly slipped away. A few minutes later, the staff arrived at the scene and was shocked by the sight. The wax had already solidified, tightly blocking the woman's nose and mouth. Paramedics arrived quickly when they saw the familiar bracelet. They were stunned. Wasn't this the same Felisa who had been hit by a falling chandelier a few days ago? They quickly calmed Felisa down. After she gradually relaxed, Hen took a scalpel and made an opening on her mouth. However, the problem was not resolved, because her throat was also filled with wax, which made it impossible for her to breathe. Hen then retrieved an airway tube, carefully inserted it into her throat, and put an oxygen mask on her. Finally, Felisa could breathe again, but how to deal with the wax on her face? It required a temperature of 104 degrees to soften it. It seemed she needed to be sent to the hospital. When they returned to the fire station, they found that the bracelet had eerily appeared in the ambulance. Thinking about how Felisa had experienced 2 accidents since buying that bracelet, Jim was too scared to even breathe. At that moment, Eddie walked over. He saw the eerie bracelet and reached out to grab it.
Wait. Just to be on the safe side.
Right.
Jim was convinced that the bracelet carried a curse, and that curses could spread, but Eddie didn't buy it. He threw off the glove and went to pick it up. The moment he took the bracelet, a firefighter slipped and fell to the ground. Could it really just be a coincidence? This made Jim even more convinced that the curse was spreading. The captain sniffed the liquid on the ground and discovered it was gasoline.
Gasoline. Evacuate the firehouse now.
Definitely spreading!
Felisa spent $20,000 on a Lucky Charm bracelet. The day after she put it on, the iron chandelier above her suddenly fell. Her assistant Alexis screamed in terror. Firefighters arrived and found Felisa still alive. Though the chandelier was firmly pinning her down, the sharp spikes of the chandelier had pierced into the floor. Buck tried to lift it, but it wouldn't budge. They had no choice but to cut the spikes off one by one. Fortunately, after inspection, Felisa had no penetrating injuries. All the spikes had missed her body. She only had a wound on the back of her head. It looked like it bled a lot, but wasn't actually severe. Felisa believed the bracelet had protected her. Otherwise, she would have been skewered. Jim asked her if she felt any pain. She said she felt nothing at all. This wasn't good news. She might have injured her spine. Jim removed her shoes and lightly tickled the sole of her right foot. Felisa laughed out loud. That was good news. It meant her right foot still had feeling. Then he tickled her left foot. This time she felt nothing. Her spine might be broken, and she needed to be rushed to the hospital for evaluation. The firefighters covered her with a blanket, then began cutting the spikes. After the cutting was complete, they removed the chandelier. Jim asked how she felt. She said she could feel a sharp pain in her left leg. This meant her spinal injury wasn't severe, or it could just be that the chandelier had compressed a nerve. Alexis happily chimed in. It must be the bracelet that worked its magic. The woman was gasping with a stab wound caused by a crystal. Strangely, people around her suddenly collapsed to the ground as well. The firefighters who arrived later were confused. This was a crystal shop. There were no gas pipelines, let alone a gas leak. So what caused everyone to pass out? While everyone was puzzled, the weapon lodged in the woman's abdomen caught the firefighters' attention. According to the shop owner who had regained consciousness, what pierced the woman was a chemical compound. When combined with stomach acid, it released a toxic gas that caused everyone to faint. Fortunately, it was discovered in time. At that moment, another woman who woke up turned out to be Felisa, a recurring patient. Ever since she bought a so-called luck-changing bracelet online, misfortune seemed never-ending. She had been hit by a falling chandelier at home, had wax poured on her face during a spa, and most recently, she visited the crystal shop hoping to cleanse her energy, but it nearly cost her assistant Alexis's life. Could something truly be manipulating all of this? Felisa was about to drive home, but a car started following her quietly. No matter how many turns she took, the car stuck close behind her. Although she immediately called 911, before they could arrive, she became so focused on the car behind that she didn't notice construction ahead. The next second, her car was buried under a massive pour of asphalt. Meanwhile, Sergeant Grant arrived at the scene and stopped the car that was following her, but Felisa's car was already trapped beneath the hardened asphalt. Soon firefighters arrived, but by then the asphalt had solidified. They were at a loss. Trapped inside the car, Felisa was quickly running out of air. That's when Eddie came up with an idea. Using a blowtorch, he heated the asphalt. Sure enough, with the torch's heat, the asphalt softened again. When the large slab of asphalt was removed from the car door, Felisa was finally rescued. All was revealed during Sergeant Grant's interrogation of the man. He was the one who had sold Alexis the fake bracelet. When he discovered Felisa was a celebrity and that his fake artifact business might be exposed, he decided he had to retrieve the bracelet. He tried to intercept it at her house, at the spa where he knocked the wax over, and at the crystal shop where he confronted Alexis and accidentally stabbed her during their struggle. His final attempt was to follow Felisa home, but it led to his arrest. Yet in the end, no one could explain why the chandelier in Felisa's home had suddenly fallen. Could there really be some mysterious force at work?
I had him up in the chair, and my foot hit the lever, and his chair slipped. Come on.
Oh,
And he cut off my damn ear.
Let me see.
Oh.
You guys got any ice here?
In the back.
You telling me you could take that man's ear and fix it back on his head?
We are gonna give it a fighting chance. Okay. Can you walk?
What?
Can you walk?
I can walk. He hasn't cut my legs off. At least not yet. Who's next?
This girl had an extraordinary stroke of bad luck. She fell straight into a palm-sized hole. Just as a truck approached, the driver didn't notice her lying on the ground. As the truck came closer and closer, she was completely stuck, unable to move. A firefighter nearby saw the scene and rushed over, shielding her with her body. Luckily, the truck driver noticed just in time, and disaster was narrowly averted. Soon, other team members arrived to help. They tried to pull her out, but realized a problem. The sharp edge of the hole had cut deeply into her thigh. Using brute force was impossible, but delaying could cause worse damage. Prolonged compression risked compartment syndrome, which might cost her the entire leg. Their whispered discussion didn't escape her ears. Hearing their concern terrified her, leaving her even more agitated. The firefighters quickly worked to calm her down. They widened the hole carefully, all while trying to keep her distracted. When asked if she wanted them to call her boyfriend, she surprised everyone by saying no. At that moment, her girlfriend appeared on the scene.
Hey.
Moved by the experience, the girl confessed her feelings, turning the unexpected incident into a successful proposal. The firefighters were shocked but impressed, and the touching scene lightened the tense atmosphere. Eventually, the area was cleared, and the girl was successfully rescued. A day full of drama, danger, and unexpected love.
Don't move. I'm gonna go get some help.
Damsel in distress.
My vitals are stable. Just pull it out.
I wouldn't.
Mind your own business.
Who is this guy?
Yang, what the hell happened?
Breast sounds clear and equal.
You be quiet. Great. What would you advise as a course of treatment?
I think we should leave it in until we get the chest x-ray and the CT back. The thing is definitely melting dirty roof water into her body.
Which is why we should pull it out.
Leave it in.
Take it out.
Leave it in.
What do you see? Don't you know how to read an X-ray?
You always read them.
Oh, get out. Get out. Find me someone with a brain.
Those your interns? Seem pretty scared of you.
I'm not scary. Oh, so what are you doing? I didn't give you permission to do that.
So?
All jewelry must be removed by the arresting officer. Do I have your permission to proceed?